On the surface, Millbrook, population 6,000, is the kind of place people move to for peace. There are white fence porches, neighbors who wave when you drive by, and Friday nights spent at the local diner. Crime is practically unheard of until the night Clare Hensley vanished. Clare, 32, was the kind of woman everyone admired. Compassionate, dependable, with an easy smile that calmed the sick and soothed the worried. A night nurse at Millbrook General, she cared for everyone else before herself. That's why her sudden disappearance on March 14, 2022, shook the town to its core. She wasn't just a nurse, says Laura Kane, Clare's closest friend since high school. She was the heart of this town. But as the days turned into weeks and whispers turned into rumors, the town learned something else about Clare. A secret that would reveal love, betrayal, and desperation. Clare's supervisor knew something was wrong when she didn't show up for her Friday night shift. Clare was never late, never unaccounted for. Calls went unanswered. When police entered her charming bungalow, they found her phone charging on the nightstand, her purse on the kitchen counter, and the front door locked. There was no sign of forced entry, no valuables missing. On the coffee table sat a half-empty wine glass, lipstick smudged across the rim. Everything looked too normal, recalls Detective Samuel Grady, a 25-year veteran of the Millbrook Police Department. If you've worked missing persons cases, you know normal is rarely good. The only thing out of place was a faint scent of cologne lingering in the air. At first, investigators assumed a random act of violence, a drifter, a crime of opportunity. But within 48 hours, a new theory emerged. She wasn't as happy as people thought. Laura admits quietly over coffee at the station. She was involved with someone married. That someone was Eric Whitmore, 40, a respected contractor and family man with a wife, Marcy, and 2 kids. To the community, Eric was the perfect husband. To Clare, he was a promise of a future that never came. Detectives subpoenaed Clare's phone records. The messages between her and Eric were clear. "I can't keep away from you. Soon, I swear." When questioned, Eric denied wrongdoing. "We were friends," he said. His alibi? He was home with his family that night. Marcy backed him up, though her voice trembled as she spoke. Before Grady could charge Eric, the case twisted. Forensic tests on the wine glass in Clare's living room revealed DNA that didn't belong to Eric. It belonged to an unidentified man. Then came the security footage. Clare was spotted at a convenience store that night, after she was supposedly home, followed by a man in a baseball cap. That man was Jason Pike, 34, a local delivery driver. When detectives confronted him, Jason didn't run. He confessed immediately, but his story shocked investigators. "She wanted to leave," Jason said, voice breaking. "Not from me, from him. She said she was scared." According to Jason, he and Clare weren't lovers. They were friends. He'd offered to help her get away from Eric, who she said was becoming controlling and angry. The plan? Meet at an abandoned farmhouse outside town, where she'd confront Eric one last time before disappearing for good. Detectives scoured the farmhouse. The smell of mildew hung heavy in the air. On the warped wooden floor were faint drag marks. In a corner, under a pile of debris, lay a scarf stained with blood. The scarf belonged to Clare. Tests confirmed the blood was hers. Then came the damning evidence. Eric's phone pinged near that farmhouse the night Clare vanished. His at-home alibi collapsed. Confronted with the evidence, Eric broke. "I didn't mean to hurt her," he sobbed. According to his confession, Clare had grown frustrated after months of broken promises. She threatened to tell his wife, his children, his entire world. He panicked. He begged her to meet him at the farmhouse, hoping to calm her down. But their argument turned violent. In a blind rage, Eric struck her. When she collapsed, Eric realized what he'd done. In a frenzy, he dragged her body into the woods behind the farmhouse and buried her in a shallow grave. His wife later admitted she suspected the affair. Out of fear and humiliation, she lied to police, giving Eric his shaky alibi. 2 weeks after she vanished, Clare's body was recovered in the dense woods beyond the farmhouse. She had died from blunt force trauma. Eric Whitmore was sentenced to life without parole. Marcy filed for divorce and left town with her children. Jason Pike was cleared of all wrongdoing. Millbrook, once defined by trust, now bore a scar. Residents still leave flowers outside Millbrook General every March, a quiet tribute to the woman they lost. Detective Grady still drives past Claire's bungalow. "She wanted love," he says softly. "That's all. And that's what killed her." Claire's last words. Among Claire's belongings, detectives found a journal tucked under her bed. The last entry was dated 2 weeks before she vanished. "He says he loves me, but I don't know who he is when I'm not around. If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident." The lesson. Clare Hensley's story isn't just about love gone wrong. It's about how secrets can turn deadly. Behind every small-town smile, there's a story no one sees.